We jump right in this week with a crisis aboard Air Force One, or at least a plane carrying the president. The nose gear won't come down, so they're diverting to a place where they can attempt a fairly safe belly flop.
Anything you say, Captain. Just get me down in time for the next election.
At Secret Projects, Reed takes a call informing him of the president's situation. He says it's a perfect job for Mr. Terrific. Trent balks as usual, and even Reed admits that Stanley seems to be a little accident-prone lately. We get a nice example at the station. He's putting these packages in the trunk for a lady, but he's having trouble getting them to fit. Stanley gets his assignment, takes his pill, gears up, and heads off to rescue the president.
BJ! Stanley, what happened?
I flapped my flippers, but nothing happened. The pill didn't work.
We may have seen that coming, considering the title of the episode is I Can't Fly. The German title that comes on the screen is Help, I Can't Fly. They have him try again. No success. He can't bend an iron bar either. The pills really aren't working. Reed and Trent head back to headquarters to find out why, while Stan sort of flips out.
Stan, you know that blue Cooper misses... Hey, Stanley. Hey, what are you doing?
Please, Hal, I can't explain. I've got to save the President of the United States.
Reed told him to keep trying to fly in case the pill had a delayed reaction, but I don't think he meant make Hal think you're ready for a padded room. Hal takes Stanley inside and puts him to bed. His mother comes over with goodies.
He has these goggles and a special flying coat, everything for getting airborne except a propeller beam.
Well, this will help the poor boy.
What's that?
Homemade chicken soup.
Mom, you don't understand. Stanley's not hungry. He's nuts.
My homemade chicken soup will help no matter what ails a body.
While they try to get Stan to eat some soup, he waits until they're out of the room, then he puts on his flight gear and jumps out the window.
I just spoke to a chick who... Dan? Stanley!
Cut to the lab where we're trying to find out what's wrong with the pills.
Please, Dr. Reynolds, hurry. We must have action. A-C-T-I-O-N, action.
As I said before, if I have to listen to that every episode, so do you.
So I'm giving you action. Trouble is, my action isn't as active as your action.
Don't you understand the life of one of our most important officials depends on your finding out what's wrong with that pill?
Gentlemen, please, I'm doing the best I can. It took almost 2,000 years to discover penicillin, and then it was an accident.
What is it, Doctor? What is it?
That candy coating on that pill smells delicious when you heat it.
It's good to know he's focused on the important part.
Now, stand back, gentlemen. I'm about to make a very important test. If one of the ingredients present in the dissolved pill is there in the proper ratio to its other ingredients, then when I pour in this acid, there will be a small reaction.
That was the small reaction.
That was the small reaction.
You don't want to see the big reaction. Stanley goes to the park to keep trying to fly. Immediately, the cops pick him up and take him in.
Now, tell me, Mr. Beamish, when did you first decide that you disliked your mother?
I love my mother. She's the best mother I ever had.
The professor has found the problem with the pills and has a new batch. Only problem now is they can't find Stanley. Stanley convinces Hal to call Reed and tell him where he is. Reed and Trent sneak into the hospital and give Stanley the new improved pills.
You realize that if you could fly, and if you were the strongest man in the world, you could go right through that window. You could rip those bars apart like they were cardboard and fly right through the window.
May I?
He catches up to the president's plane and goes for the landing gear.
I can't believe it. According to the panel light, the nose wheel is down.
Now take a booster and get out of there. Or vice versa. We learned something new about Hal this week. He has an excellent relationship with his mother. Stanley, on the other hand, talks about his mother in the past tense, so I think we can assume she's no longer with us. It's about time we started getting tidbits like that about somebody besides Hal. This was a convoluted episode that doesn't feel like it knew what it wanted to be. The basic plot is the president's plane is in trouble, but Stanley can't help because he can't fly until Dr. Reynolds comes up with a better batch of pills. The doctor does so and Stanley saves the day. Everything between those two events is filler. The idea is supposed to be making fun of a nut who thinks he can fly, but it never goes anywhere. And then things are all fixed as abruptly as they got broken. Seriously, you can watch the first 5 minutes and skip to the last 5 minutes and you have the story. You didn't miss anything by cutting out the 15 minutes in between. The jokes are standard for this show. Reed did his action, A-C-T-I-O-N, action line twice, so you should thank me for only inflicting it on you once. Worst of all, we still aren't taking the main story arc anywhere. We're still mission hopping at the expense of connection with the audience. But as we've seen, the whole show from start to finish was pretty much that way. Too bad. Let's change the channel and see what Captain Nice is getting himself into. Everybody is watching a man who's out on a ledge, apparently suicidal. Carter ducks into an alley to change to Captain Nice and save him. Before he drinks the formula, he sees what's actually going on.
Don't, Tom!
He's not suicidal, but he is insane. Carter goes to put the formula back in his briefcase.
Oh, I'm terribly sorry. I didn't mean to do that. Here, let me help you.
No,
Please don't. I insist. No. Here, let me open the door.
Turns out there's 4 of these women and they're loading boxes onto that truck. Carter doesn't ask any questions, he just jumps in to help.
Oh, let me help you with that body. Body? What are you ladies doing? Wait a minute. This is a robbery.
They overpower him and stuff him in the cooler. At least he has his briefcase, but as we saw, he spilled a good amount of that formula.
I'll either have 1/4 of my strength all of the time, or all of my strength 1/4 of the time. Or none of my strength, none of the time.
Here's a question. How does he know how much to drink? How did he figure out the right dosage? Wouldn't that require experimenting with other levels? Why am I sitting here asking stupid questions? Later, Chief Ziegel and Sergeant Kane are with the furrier when he opens the cold room.
You take off my mink coat. I recognize that voice. I heard him say he was loading the truck. Why, he's part of the mob.
Don't get excited. I'm in charge here, and all we have to do is find some clues. All right, Nash. Tell the man what you were doing here.
I was only helping them load the furs into the getaway car.
Did you hear that? He just confessed. Arrest him.
Let me explain, sir. You see, there were these 4 beautiful girls.
Suspicion continues to swirl around Carter while he looks for evidence of who the women might be. He finds some flecks of a special floor wax that's only used in dance studios. Sergeant Kane takes it from there and comes up with a studio in town run by 4 beautiful instructors. Candy puts on a blonde wig and gets fired from the police force. She goes to the studio and applies for a job.
You looking for me?
You, Rosalind?
Yes.
Now, how about a job?
You're hired, honey. We'll talk about the details later. Go give him his lesson.
Right, honey.
That was almost too easy.
What do we need her for?
That's Sergeant Kane from the big town police.
But that can't be Sergeant Kane. Sergeant Kane has brown hair. This woman is blonde. Gosh, what a clever disguise.
Well, I better get things ready in room 16 then, right?
Not yet. She's the girlfriend of that Carter Nash, the one witness to our fur job.
I get it. We strap a time bomb to her, turn on our homing beacon, and send her back to him.
I get it. We use her as bait.
Right. As soon as Nash comes to get her, we load the furs and eliminate both of them in room 16.
Or you can do that. They place a phony call to Carter saying Candy needs him to come help her at the dance studio right away.
After all, Mother, she was fired because of me.
Oh. What's she doing now?
I believe she's teaching dancing.
Oh, that's nice. Your father and I used to be wonderful dancers. Harvey, show Carter how we won first prize at the big town ball.
I had to leave that in for you. Carter announces himself at the studio and he's taken directly to room 16.
Carter, what are you doing here?
Oh, Sergeant. I got your message.
What message? I didn't send you a message. They must know who I am.
Who are they?
The fur thieves. I discovered the furs downstairs.
Candy starts trying to hide Carter's face so the women won't recognize him. Little does she know.
Every time to try to figure out some way to get rid of you.
You got the furs loaded?
When you're through here, we'll be ready to cut out.
In 5 minutes, all the air will be sucked out of that room and they'll suffocate.
Carter notices the thin air and tries the door.
Must be locked from the outside.
Goodbye, Carter Nash. In 5 minutes, the last bit of air will be sucked out of that room. You and Sergeant Kane will be dead. And we'll be on our way.
He still has his Captain Nice formula if he can stay awake long enough to take it. But that means revealing his secret to Candy. Now, we all know it takes Carter forever to spit out what he's trying to say, and this occasion is no exception. By the time he gets to the punchline, she's unconscious and can't hear him anyway. There's just one problem. She used his briefcase to try and break the glass on the door and spilled his formula again. We'll see if there's enough to get them out of this.
That's the step I wanted to learn. That's the smash.
I'm gonna say yes. As I re-watched these 50 years later, I'm surprised Captain Nice folded first. We're getting some decent characterizations, some nice complex plots, and reasonably good jokes. Mr. Terrific is still stuck in the same rut it's been in from the start. I would think it would be canceled first because this one is starting to develop. As we've said before, it came way too late and most audiences never saw it, but it happened. It's too bad it didn't happen soon enough to save the show. Until next time.